Hey, what is up guys, Atom Flack here bringing you another video, and today I'm bringing you a video on Call of Duty Black Ops 3 tips. As you know, I was gonna say, like I said, I promised to bring a tips video, so that day has finally come guys, so I hope you guys enjoy it and hopefully it helps you out. Anyway, so let's get started. The first tip number one is use the radar. It is very important that you use the radar, especially on every game. Pretty much that's gonna be the main tip that you're gonna hear. Obviously, especially Call of Duty and Halo and that kind of stuff. Tip number one is radar. Tip number two is constantly aim down your sights. You're gonna want to constantly aim down your sights, whether you're coming in between an alley or into a building, and stuff like that. So say you come to, well, let's just say you're coming to this corner right here. Let's just say that. Okay, so you're gonna want to look to your right, and you're gonna want to look to your left. And then you're gonna, if it's clear, then you're gonna move. But anyways, so just constantly aim down your sights, guys. You can get the jump on people very quickly on here. If you take that advantage of aiming down the sights rapidly. Tip number three is use the outskirts of the maps. As you know, there is maps on here where you can wall run on the outside of the map to flank at enemies, to get in the enemy spawn, stuff like that. So you're gonna want to use that. You want to use the outskirts of the maps at all costs. That was kind of weird. So yeah. Oh shit. All right. So yeah, you just want to use the outskirts of the maps. On the maps, like for instance on evac, there is that one wall where you can run it out on the outside of it. It is very, oh crap. Lagging. Oh god. Okay, holy shit. What is going on? There we go. Alright, sorry guys, I don't know what happened there. Anyways, as I was saying, that you're gonna want to use, like evac for instance, for example, it has the walls that you can run on the outside of the map for, to, flank enemies and stuff like that. Tip number four is use the specialist that fits your playstyle. For me, it is Spectre, because I like to be, I like to be close quarters, and plus I like to be mobile, so I like to move quicker. So a Spectre and Outrider are my two picks. Mainly Spectre though, because he's awesome. Anyways, because Spectre gets just because I like to be up close in person with the enemy. So if you're like if you snipe a lot on this game, you're probably gonna want to use Outrider with her vision pulse. Just because that radius of her vision pulse is about 10 feet in front of you, and it's very helpful to find enemies when you're in a certain sniping spot and really can't find anyone. I guess you could always use a thermal scope too, but I'm just saying this for instance. So yeah, I mean it may only last for like 2 seconds, but I mean at least you got it familiar where the spots they are at. So yeah, then tip number 5 is do the free run track. Guys, it is very important that you do that. The free running is, to be honest with you, that's the first thing I did on this game before I even jumped into multiplayer, competitive multiplayer, because just to get used to the movements and stuff like that. It's very helpful. It's helpful in many ways. It can help you, maneuver through walls a lot better while you run a wall running and stuff like that. And, stuff like that. Just anyways. Tip number 6 is use the attachment stock even on SMGs, because I mean I had early access to this game, guys, so I know why. The reason why I'm saying use stock is because your mobility is very, very slow on here, even with SMG. Like previous Call of Duties where you didn't even need stock for your SMG because you're so mobile. But in this case, you're not very mobile on here with SMGs on here. So yeah, use stock. It's very important that you do that. It's a very important attachment. And grip is good too, but I mean stock is a little bit more important. And also, I mean stock, if you look at grip and stock and you equip it to your gun, it's going to increase accuracy either or. Just the stock has the ability to move. You're more mobile, so more mobility, more mobile, unlike without stock. Tip number 7 is use the movement system to your advantage. I'll show a video on how I use the movement system, the new movement system to my advantage. Tip number 8. One shot, one kill. Tip number 8 is, if you recall from my Call of Duty Advanced Warfare rank play tips and tricks video, you will see me do the middle finger trick, which is very important to do. So basically what you do, say you got L1 and R1 for your trigger or for your aiming down sights and that type of stuff. So your middle fingers are stationary on the bottom of your controller, and it gets wild to use to, but basically, so your right middle finger will go to R2, your left middle finger will go to L2. If you have the default setup where it's L2 R2, you're gonna want to use the middle finger for that. So L2 to aim down sights, R2 to shoot. Feels very awkward, but you do get used to it. It's the middle finger trick, and I'll show you on my Advanced Warfare video. I'll show you exactly how I do it and stuff like that. Next is tip number 9 is use G slide and super slide. People probably don't know what this is, but I'll show you a tutorial on how to do them. It is very helpful to move quicker around the maps and stuff like that. Tip number 10 is play the objective if it's objective based game mode. So like search and destroy or domination or safeguard, you want to play the objective. Tip number 11 is don't sprint too much on here, guys. I mean, it may sound, it's very hard not to sprint on this game, but it's not as fast paced as Advanced Warfare, so you don't have to sprint as much. But yeah, in this case, it's a little bit slower, and plus you don't sprint too much. Just basically, so what I'm saying is that say you're in an alley on a map, and there's two enemies. There's the enemy that's just casually going through the alley, and then there's an enemy that's sprinting down the alley. And I mean, if he doesn't have ready up or whatever perk it is on here, I think it's on the go or whatever heck it's called on here. For that case, so basically, so you can recover quickly and be rapidly deploy or rapidly aim down your sights after sprinting. But I wouldn't recommend it. I mean, I honestly don't sprint that much on this game. You'll see me not do that as much on here. Yeah. So yeah, just don't sprint too much on this game, guys. And then plus, so just to recap the tips. So tip number 1, excuse me. Tip number 1 is radar. Tip number 2 is constantly aim down the sights. Tip number 3 is use the outskirts of the map. Tip number 4 is use the specialist that fits your playstyle. Tip number 5 is do the free run tracks. Tip number 6 is use stock for every weapon, including SMGs. Tip number 7, use the movement system to your advantage. Tip number 8 is the middle finger trick, which you'll see on my Advanced Warfare rank play tips and trick video. Tip number 9 is use G slide and super slide. Tip number 10 is play the objective if it's an objective based game mode. And tip 11, don't sprint too much on the game. Anyway, so that does it for the tips video. I will bring you I'll bring you the tutorial on how to do the G slide and the super slide. And I also will bring you a video on how I use the movement system, the new movement system to this game, to my advantage. So just stay tuned for all that type of stuff, guys. They'll be posted after those videos. So once again, thanks for watching, guys. This is OptimFlax signing off, and I'll see you all next time on my next video. Peace.
Hostile UAV spotted. Advised, hostile MCXD spotted.